everybody? Welcome to Essential Viewing. Now, this isn't just any episode of Essential Viewing. This is Essential Viewing Live! So, we just got back from Sundance Cinema. We watched the movie Monty Python Goes to Hollywood.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Hail Caesar. Written and directed by Joel Coen and his brother, Ethan Coen. Starring a whole lot of highly paid actors. Josh Brolin, George Clooney, Alden Ehrenreich as Hobie Doyle. I don't think he's been in anything before, or nothing I've seen. Ralph Fiennes, Scarlett Johansson, Tilda Swinton, Channing Tatum, Jonah Hill, a bunch of other people. Oh, and Patrick Fischler was in it. He was also in, he's been in lots of other things. But anyways. Okay. So yeah, we watched that, and we have thoughts about it, and we will use the next 30 minutes to say our thoughts
exactly
in audio form for you to listen to.
Well, let's not make this too boring. So, Chris, why don't you started off, you did the intro, so do you want to give your opinion of the film?
Yeah, sure. Why not? I usually don't go first. But
That's okay.
I'll go first this
time. First time for everything.
So yeah, the Monty Python comparison is a legitimate one. It really was a Monty Python film.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that thought that.
Yeah. And I enjoyed watching it, but I don't know. It wasn't I was expecting I don't know. I guess, and you shouldn't go into movies with expectations, but they did advertise the movie, and I did see trailers for it. So I was kind of expecting, and the trailers kind of made it appear to be a sort of clever satire on old Hollywood. Mm-hmm. And even in reading interviews from Joel and Ethan Coen, they kind of sold it as a clever satire of old Hollywood. But what it kind of turned out to be was just a bunch of slapstick with with some clever jokes intertwined here and there. Now that being said, I did enjoy watching it, but I thought it was funny, but it was just kind of lots of spoof comedy, and I felt like they kind of really leaned on the fact that they had lots of celebrities in the movie. You know what I mean? Which they when they were writing this movie, they were we're gonna get lots of celebrities in our cast. It wasn't a movie written just to be a movie and then you'd cast it. The movie was casted before it was written, and you could see from the use of the celebrity cameos that it was this. The whole point of this was this is a vehicle to get celebrities on the screen and to get the audience who loves these celebrities, excited about that. So I'm not a big fan of that sort of thing. I feel like a movie should be able to stand on its own with or without celebrities. So I did enjoy it, but there were some issues with it. Which we'll dive deeper into.
So I kind of agree with what Chris is saying for once.
All right.
And
what?
Whoa!
You all right, Bryce?
Yeah.
You all right?
I enjoyed watching it. It had some funny parts, but it just seemed like a bunch of sort of random scenes thrown together.
Oh yeah.
And a bunch of random scenes I enjoyed, but a bunch of random scenes that didn't mesh well together at all. Mm-hmm. And I think that Monty Python description was an apt one. Except in Monty Python, everything's funny, everything's critiquing something. Yeah. And this there's just some random scenes that are just kind of in there for fun, kind of the dancing scene, which I enjoyed.
It was very long.
Yeah, I enjoyed all of these random scenes, but they didn't really flow well together in the story they were trying to tell, and they were trying to tell a story.
And I actually agree completely with both of you guys. I think that's the first time
what's going on?
Whoa. This is going to be a short podcast.
What is going on?
No, I
disagree with me, Cole.
No, Chris, just hang on. I could not agree with you more. The scene when they were rowing out in the boat to the Russian submarine, that point, I'm just that's Monty Python.
That's what made me think of it too.
It was just very strange. I know you mentioned expectations going into the film. I was excited to see it. The way that I agree that the way the trailer portrayed the film was not what I ended up seeing. No. It was very different. Especially the music they played in the trailer was kind of a more modern, kind of poppy, whatever stylized song, and it was I don't know. It was just different from what I thought I was going to go see it. I completely agree with you, Price, that a lot of the scenes were very kind of not random, but they were just not necessary. The dancing scene was very technically impressive.
Yeah, but
it was awesome. But it was there was no point. The only real purpose of that scene was later on when Channing Tatum jumps off the boat and lands in the ladder.
Yeah, that was funny.
But they didn't need to do the whole 3.5 minute tap dancing scene for that. And the same thing with the Scarlett Johansson mermaid diving scene. I thought that was amazing. I thought it was so cool. It was like hypnotic and like just really cool to watch and everything. But there was like, she was just a side character that really like didn't.
And there were like a lot of side characters in this movie that didn't really add.
It had the feel of like, this is, I think, Universal Studios. We have like billions of dollars that we've made from making like Fast and Furious movies and like all this other stuff. Now, let's bring in, let's make a prestige film that has, a superstar cast. Let's throw a ton of money on it. Let's get synchronized swimmers.
Yeah.
And just like make something just to like, I almost felt like it was like, we want to make a film that we can like show to our friends and be like, you know what I mean? Like a lot of just like money thrown at it just to kind of show off for no reason. Like the Scarlett Johansson scene again, the Channing Tatum like way too long, like dancing. Like I thought it was like cool to see, but I was like, it almost could have been better if they had gone full musical.
Yeah,
like I would have enjoyed that.
That
could have like,
and
I don't like musicals now, but like that almost would have benefited it if they had just gone full musical.
Because it didn't really seem just like set piece to set piece to set piece.
Definitely. Yeah. I think one thing, going back to the trailer comparison, is like the way that the trailer was cut together. It seemed like George Clooney was going to be captured. Whatever his name was, Baird Whitlock. Whitlock. He's going to be captured. And then it seemed like Josh Brolin's character, Mannix, was going to like recruit all these other actors to like find him. That's what the trailer.
I was expecting more of a mystery. Kind of. You know what I mean?
And they literally just like went back and like George Clooney, like he didn't even have to escape the clutches of the communists. Like he literally just he just left. Like
Baird.
The other dude,
Hobie Doyle.
Yeah, Hobie Doyle just came and rescued him, and like that scene was funny. Like I don't know, it was just very like a really kind of strange movie. I started to like it more toward the end when the themes and like the movie's full of symbolism. Toward the end, especially like the name of the movie studio they work for is Capitol Pictures. Like the one of the like larger like plot arcs of the movie is George Clooney being captured by communists and they're shitting on capitalism and like.
Oh, I didn't understand that until you explained it.
Okay,
wait. The studio made money.
Yeah.
Oh
no, but it was like capitalism. It was very ham-fisted symbolism, if you will. But so like that, I enjoyed that aspect of it. I liked how I like kind of period pieces like this. I know it's kind of common. I think the 70s like setting has been kind of common in recent films. You have American Hustle. You have something else that came out.
Inherent Vice.
Kind
of more late 60s. Well, no, it was the 70s. But
yeah, like the 70s been a very popular like setting for movies these days. I like that it's there aren't many modern films that have a setting that is like late 40s, early 50s U.S. And not usually they're wartime stories, but this was Hollywood, and it kind of entwined like kind of aspects of that time along with the like Red Scare starting of that in Hollywood, and like I think that's a really interesting time period. So I liked that, and I liked how they didn't really like start talking right away. It was kind of like the beginning of like the influence of communism in the Hollywood. Like the Hollywood scene, and I thought that was really cool, and I enjoyed that aspect of the film.
I just think that
Chris isn't going to let me bring this up, but season 2 of Marvel's like Agent Carter show is literally like this same setting.
Oh,
like the exact
that
same
show's
setting.
Set in like the Cold War.
Yeah, and the first season like in New York, and now the second season is in Hollywood during the beginning of the Cold War.
Oh, that's cool.
And like there's a lot of communism stuff going on besides like the scientific paranormal twists and kind of stuff. But
I guess I'm going to start watching Marvel's Agent Carter now. Wait, no.
Yeah. All right.
But, like, I feel like, all that sort of comedy, which there were funny moments, but if they had wrapped all that around a plot that had a bit more oomph to it, then it would have been a much better film. Mm-hmm. But because it almost kind of felt like, they have, like, some writers, like, notebook of like funny moments. And,
and they just pieced it together.
Sort of pieced it together into a movie.
I was just thinking the same thing.
It's like none of like the secondary characters added to the plot like at all.
Like you had Channing Tatum like go to Moscow at one point, like get in the Soviet sub. But like that was just like
it wasn't even any like suddenly he becomes the main villain.
Yeah.
But it was like
It was like,
first,
oh look, it's Channing Tatum.
Hey, it's
again.
Channing Tatum, and then it's like he's dancing on the bar, and then next time you see him, he's the main villain of the film. But there's no even Ralph Fiennes' character. What did he do?
No point.
He didn't do anything.
I really liked that scene.
I liked it too, but what was his purpose to be in the movie?
Right?
He had no purpose to be in the movie. Mm-hmm. Jonah Hill.
There's no reason for.
And you might say Jonah Hill's purpose to be in the movie was his interaction with Scarlett Johansson, but why was Scarlett Johansson in the movie?
Yeah,
no one knows.
Because you make this poster that has all these pictures of celebrities on it, people will come to see the movie.
Yeah, it seemed like they definitely use the actress as a crutch, like to sell the film.
Huge
and at
crutch.
one point, like the Coen Brothers might have been sitting there cutting everything together, and they're like, "Oh shit, this isn't a good movie. Bring out the crutches. Let's get as many people to see this as possible, so they can make another one later on."
I mean, the one thing these secondary characters kind of added to would be kind of Josh Brolin's character and his day-to-day workings in the Hollywood field, and they kind of tried to tie that all together at the end with him speaking to his father or whatever at the end of the movie, and I don't know, it just didn't really resonate that well because it wasn't prevalent throughout the whole film.
They didn't do too much with the Josh Brolin stuff, the main. I assume he was the main character, but his story arc.
If they would have focused on his story arc and really developed that a lot, it could have been a lot better. And all of these separate kind of storylines would have fit in with that, and him trying to
I have to say
But then it was focusing on this whole other communism thing, and these two things didn't really interact at all, and it didn't work.
You guys haven't seen Inherent Vice, but this film, watching this movie, made me. I didn't like Inherent Vice that much, but watching this film made me appreciate Inherent Vice a lot more because this film is actually the exact same sort of idea as Inherent Vice. In fact, Inherent Vice is also starring Josh Brolin.
Yeah.
Where you have this main character with a plot arc, and their plot arc sort of takes them around. It's also set in Los Angeles. Their plot arc takes them around to meet a lot of different interesting characters. And through meeting those interesting characters, they sort of discover something about themselves. Inherent Vice is the same film in that respect. But Inherent Vice, the plot, even though it doesn't really make sense, there's a mystery there that's a lot more compelling in Inherent Vice. And it's a lot more interesting throughout the film. So this, I would almost consider this film to be a poor execution of the same idea of Inherent Vice. And you guys will understand. When you see that movie, you'll see the comparison instantly.
Yeah. This kind of was... I just remember this, but one of my favorite parts of the film, and I think you guys might agree, is just the simple bird caw.
Yeah.
Every time
on
Eagle's Wings.
On Eagle's Wings. Every time they did they mention I know they mentioned at the end that the controversy was that Baird Whitlock he sodomized the director, but did they?
I think it was Ralph Fiennes.
Yeah, he sodomized Ralph Fiennes. Did they mention that earlier on? Because I thought I missed it in dialogue.
No, they just said I'm gonna write. Tilda Swinton's one of her characters was I'm gonna write this story, and Josh Brolin's what's the story? She's on wings as eagles.
On Eagle's Wings.
And then it's
that was great.
That was super funny. And when they came back
awesome.
to it,
they repeated that every
later.
time.
I thought that was funny.
Yeah. And my favorite moment was at the end when they were discussing On Eagle's Wings or whatever the story, and then they were saying the controversy where Baird Whitlock sodomized the director, and they're they just said sodomy. I thought that was super funny. Just really random, very Python-esque sort of humor, and the film was.
I almost feel
humorous.
they should have gone full on with that kind of humor because that's what the movie really felt
That's the thing. It was too much. It didn't go all the way one way. If it had just been pure, if it had been like a 21 Jump Street kind of deal, right, then I would have been better. If it had been that kind of humor wrapped around a really strong plot, it would have been better. But they kind of sat in the middle, and that doesn't really work.
It's Turbo Kid syndrome. That's something that Bryce and I have witnessed.
Yeah.
Turbo Kid's on Netflix, by the way.
I noticed that.
But you might want to give that a watch.
Okay.
I would rather. I like Turbo Kid.
Yeah, I think I'd say the same thing. Turbo Kid's a good thing to have in your film critic arsenal.
Are you saying that you liked a small indie film better than a star-studded blockbuster comedy?
I did.
But I think that's warranted in a situation like your comparison of Laser Team of The Martian.
Okay.
Regardless, I don't want to get into that. But yeah, I think the film overall, just it was very crutchy.
It's easy. I enjoyed it, right?
Yeah.
So it's very easy it's very easy to walk out and say, oh, I had a good time. I paid $13 and I laughed, so it was fine. But we're doing movie criticism here. You know what I mean? So we can't be wooed by a few good laughs.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I understand that. I think I enjoyed aspects of the film.
I mean, Family Guy is pretty funny, but
but I think like
Guy.
It is Family Guy, but like I don't know. I think this film like it did not warrant the $13 we paid for it.
I agree.
Like it was all right. Like it wasn't what it wasn't what it seemed like it was going to be from the trailer. It really, really relied on a cast of characters that many of the stars that are
and
like
that's the thing.
Advertised.
I feel like the movie more than relied. This movie wouldn't have been possible without the celebrity cast.
Oh, absolutely.
Like it wouldn't have worked.
Mm-hmm.
And like I'm not saying it worked, but I'm saying like if it hadn't been for the celebrity cast, it would have been like you wouldn't. You'd be like, why am I watching this?
Yeah.
Which means that like if you need celebrities to make it, then it's like okay, you're banking on someone's real world persona for a movie. They're supposed to be actors. You know what I mean? You're not supposed to be. Oh, that's Channing Tatum. Oh, it's like so that's a character. So this sort of like
did Channing Tatum even like have any lines?
I mean, he just sang.
Yeah, like
I guess he's saying
I guess to make like a Roman reference, I would consider this movie to be like bread and circus. You know what I mean?
What?
Like Rome, bread and circus.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh.
Circus?
Yeah, like in Rome, they like
no.
Caesar was like, we'll give the people bread and circus.
Okay, I'm not familiar with my Roman history that much,
but
I think there's
such a big Rome fan.
No. There's
I'm a big fan of Roman stuff.
Okay, so you should have loved this.
Essential Rome.
Essential Rome.
Essential roaming.
Essential Rome.
I think there's a good kind of lesson to learn from this. So like movies, at least characters in films should be appreciated for what the character is actually written as and developed as, and not who's portraying them. You can definitely celebrate the actor that is portraying a character and they do a great job. I want to compare this to another Coen Brothers film, No Country for Old Men, in which Javier Bardem is incredible as Anton Chigurh. But Anton Chigurh is just a very cool, well-written, well-thought-out character. And
but it's Javier Bardem as Javier Bardem.
Exactly.
It's not.
But the thing is, the character of Anton Chigurh, I think, is good enough that you can get another very good actor to go in and make him a great character. In this instance, like Scarlett Johansson, her character was just like a person that she was nothing.
It was like, hey, it's Scarlett Johansson. I like her.
The only person that was like almost a character was Josh Brolin.
I think Josh Brolin and Ralph Fiennes were both like characters, but Ralph Fiennes had no purpose to be in the movie.
Yeah.
So it's like I think everyone else, Jonah Hill, Channing Tatum, Scarlett Johansson, not Tilda Swinton. She actually like acted, but like those three, like they should have been like not
because. The thing is,
I did like the Hobie Doyle guy.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was good.
He was good. Like I thought he had some funny parts, and he kind of had some character progression.
Mm-hmm.
But again, he didn't add to the main plot at all.
Yeah. It's important to like be able to appreciate a character regardless of who is portraying them. Like the thing is, if someone else would have portrayed Scarlett Johansson, like Daisy Ridley, if she had not been in Star Wars, even Daisy Ridley now, it wouldn't have been the same. It wouldn't have been.
Well, they wouldn't. That stuff would have been cut from the movie.
Exactly, but I'm just saying, hypothetically, if they were to portray that, like, no one would have been like, they would be like, oh, that's Scarlett Johansson. They'd
be like, why?
Who is this person? Why do I care? But it's just because Scarlett Johansson's really pretty, and because like she's Scarlett Johansson, that they're leaning on that to carry it throughout the movie. We're
not talking about like, okay, if it's like Late Night with Jimmy Fallon, right? You watch Late Night with Jimmy Fallon to see whoever the person is. But I'm talking about a movie with actors, they portray characters.
Yeah.
So when you're relying on the person's real persona, again, that's a big no. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like they're a movie star, yes, but that's the problem with like there's a sort of an epidemic of like I've read articles of this, like lots of British actors being cast in roles as like Americans.
Yeah.
Right? And the reason for that is because they don't have movie star syndrome over there. Right? Over here we have movie star syndrome where people who, are not the best actors, right? Scarlett Johansson, Channing Tatum, like, are somehow thrown into the ranks of the elite actors when they're not. You know what I mean? And this is an example of movie star syndrome going too far, where you're now making a movie which is just like some sort of variety show where we see a bunch of celebrity charismas on the screen. Yeah. And it's like, it doesn't work.
And then you begin celebrating the people that are portraying the roles instead of the roles themselves.
Yeah.
And that's I think that's a definite like very severe flaw in this film is that it is, like I said, too crutchy. And it just, like, it's like a small boy with polio. Like, it can't support itself.
Yeah.
So sick reference, bro.
Holy shit!
What? It's okay. Polio isn't wrong. Also, I realize this is very strange, but I like the scene when Josh Brolin was meeting with the 4 members of like there were the Baptist, Protestant, and then Catholic, and then there's the Jewish guy. That was a really good scene. I like that. I thought the dude that represented the Baptist church looked just like FDR. That's maybe why I brought up polio. Oh yeah. But, like, that scene was really good. Like, I really
excuse
enjoyed
to bring
it.
up polio.
Yeah,
though.
but, like, the Jewish guy was super funny, and at the end, they're like, well, Rabbi, what do you think? He's like, I don't have an opinion. And they cut away. That was awesome.
That was, like, the earlier scenes in the movie. I'm like, oh, this is going to be a pretty funny, good movie. And then it's kind of like...
I liked how George Clooney wore the, like, Legionnaire costume the whole time.
And he, like, kept messing with his sword and stuff. I liked how, like, because his leather, like, whatever piece and hung up from his chest, like, consistently covered his crotch. Even in scenes where he was like very obviously like sitting with his legs spread open.
Yeah.
Was trying to find another.
Clooney penis.
Ben Affleck.
It's like Ben Affleck's penis, which is in Gone Girl. But anyway,
you heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, it's there.
Ben Affleck's
trust me.
penis is in Gone Girl.
It's there. Ben Affleck.
You can do like a frame by frame
comparison. I'll scrub through the whole film every time. But yeah, so I don't know. Did you guys want to mention anything else? You kind of wrap
this is just like kind of really unrelated, but we were talking about like the celebrity like characters, personas, and like in like The Big Short, they kind of had those scenes where they just threw in Margot Robbie, you know.
Yeah. No, but those had a purpose. That was a stylistic choice. Mm-hmm. I thought that was a stylistic choice.
I'm saying like that's like a way to do it well.
That's a good way to do it.
I did not enjoy the Margot Robbie scene though. I mean, because it is Margot Robbie, and she's like,
I liked all the little
big
segments.
I loved the Selena Gomez one, and the Anthony Bourdain was incredible. But Margot Robbie was like, it was too distracting. And I don't want to talk about The Big Short now. But yeah, that's just my opinion. And Bryce, I definitely agree. That's a way that you can execute it right. And Chris, I agree with you saying it's a stylistic choice.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Gee, we're just all a big bundle of agreement today.
Yeah, it's like
disappointing.
What was the first movie we did?
A Most Violent Year?
Yeah, it was kind of like that. Like it was super dry, and like.
Well, Marvel movies suck.
Yeah, there we go.
What the fuck?
God damn it! I don't want to get into this.
Civil War is the best screening Marvel movie to date. Only it's topping Winter Soldier, which is my personal favorite Marvel movie.
It's probably gonna be stupid, and Deadpool. Deadpool's gonna be dumb too.
All right, well, that's for another time.
We'll wait to see those movies, and then we'll judge them afterwards.
Exactly. So, do you guys want to finish up? Go over our scales.
Yeah.
All right.
So I'll start since I'm talking.
No.
So I thought that the movie was entertaining. I thought it was funny. But as I've said many times, I don't watch movies for fun. So you're gonna have to give me a bit more than that if you want me to give you a good rating. I thought that the movie was aesthetically pleasing. I especially liked the sort of frame within frame action they did with like showing films on screen.
That was cool.
I thought that was cool. Like I liked the performance of Josh Brolin, and I thought Ralph Fiennes was good, and I thought that George Clooney was good.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the other celebrity cameos were kind of just like Jonah Hill, Channing Tatum, Scarlett Johansson. No,
yeah,
I did not like their presence in the film.
All right, be gone with your presence.
Those people can fuck off.
Yeah.
Again, it was entertaining. I thought that the script was kind of just like you can't write a script like that without knowing beforehand that you're gonna have a ton of money to make this movie, and that you're gonna be able to hire the celebrities, and that's not good, you know. So overall, it's a very high quality sort of variety show, Monty Python gag reel, slapstick spoof comedy, and that's deserving of.
A lot of adjectives there.
A solid
nice
6.5 out of 10 from me.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So I definitely agree. Like, I mean, it had some funny scenes. It had some scenes I really liked. I really liked the Channing Tatum dancing scene for whatever reason.
I did too. I agree with you.
I like watching
it. Was
that.
really choreographed.
Oh yeah, it was awesome. I thought it was great.
It had some pretty funny parts with like the bartender or whatever. I really like Ralph Fiennes' scene also. I think he's a fantastic actor. You can see him in the Grand Budapest Hotel, one of the best films in recent memory. But yeah, at the end of the day, this film didn't really accomplish a lot. It didn't have a well-structured story. And a lot of what we were saying kind of about the phoning in just these like celebrity cameo actors is kind of weird because like the film is kind of against that, really, if you think about it. Because they were like the communism people, like this is like a big like business, and they wanted like to bring it down.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end, like Josh Brolin's like, no, let's just keep doing it.
Yeah, that I like that.
And,
When
like,
he was slapping George Clooney, he's like,
yeah.
"You will get in there, and you will portray that role the best you can." And then he goes and he forgets
So like
his line.
this movie kind of like did some of the things that seemed like it was against. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think that was part of the film. Like they talked. Like,
It wasn't really like well executed, but like that was part of it.
Yeah, like I think there's juxtaposition between like the communists saying like we want equal pay for everything, and then when George Clooney says like, "Oh, can I take part of
It's
my
interesting.
ransom?" They're like, "No, that'd be unethical."
Because
Like, that was
I
super funny.
read an article where they were asking the directors about that, and they explicitly said that the movie was not meant to be a criticism of the commercialization of Hollywood films.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, then I definitely agree with.
That was part of it.
They specifically said no, that's not what the movie's about at all.
Okay,
We weren't trying to say that.
They're lying,
Okay.
or they're just stupid.
So after like this information, I'm gonna give it like a solid 5 out of 10.
I was gonna give
not
the same
so solid
thing.
5 out of 10.
I was gonna give the
a
same
real
thing
shitty
actually.
5 out of 10.
I was.
I would say don't watch this. I think every episode we've had, so I've been like, give this movie a watch. This time,
whoa!
I'm gonna say,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, don't watch
honestly
it.
thought I was coming in with the low rating.
Unless,
No, I was
Unless
gonna
you're
give the
like,
same
unless like
thing
it's on
advice.
Netflix and like you just want to like fall asleep.
Yeah.
Well, you probably won't fall asleep because there's a few funny parts,
Well,
but
if Chris,
I would say don't watch it.
okay,
Honestly,
if Chris wouldn't have told you that, what would you have given it, Bryce?
as soon as we left, I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10.
Okay, I agree with that. I kind of want to just like one
Just
down.
go
Bryce.
way down there.
Negative 5 out of 10.
Negative 5.
No.
This movie would have been better if I hadn't watched it.
Yeah, and fucking give me my money back, Sundance. No, I think the adjective I used to describe this film was crutchy. And I agree with that. I think that they definitely relied, like you said, Chris, they wrote the parts knowing they'd have a lot of money, knowing the actors or actresses, actress, I think, Tilda Swinton, actresses they had in mind. Actresses, sorry. Whatever.
There was that one dude's girlfriend also.
Yeah, to her, the Hispanic woman.
Is she famous?
I have no idea.
Oh.
But no, they definitely, and they relied on that too much. Very extremely. I've never seen The Big Lebowski. I know it's more of a comedy. That's another film that Coen Brothers
People
directed.
say it's good.
But I really
It's kind
really
of the same
enjoyed
style, where there's a lot
Fargo.
of random stuff, but like it adds up, whereas this didn't add up.
I really enjoyed Fargo. I really we watched No Country for Old Men. That was my pick. I really enjoyed No Country for Old Men, and this is a very different, stylistically and tonally, if that makes sense, film for when comparing the two of them. And I didn't really enjoy it. I enjoyed some of the kind of philosophical aspects they incorporated in. I enjoyed the content, the philosophy, but overall quality as a film. I have to agree with Bryce. I give it a 5 out of 10. I would say if you have nothing else to do, if you've exhausted the essential viewing archives, I would say
listen
maybe
to some
go
old
ahead and watch
podcasts
this.
before you go.
I would definitely suggest this to John, my roommate, the philosophy major. Yeah, that's what I think. For my legendary Colby and Second Steel, for kind of just random humorous Python-esque relief, I'd give it probably 9.5 random caws out of 10 because they're just I got a good amount of laughs out of the film. It was good, but it just overall quality it wasn't very wholesome and comprehensive and just I don't know.
So I'm not going to change my rating.
Okay,
but I would let it be known that I did not like this movie more than they did.
Chris doesn't want to be on a higher level.
I just went first. So just keep that in mind, okay?
That was great. All right. So, Chris, did you want to plug anything else? Or should we
No, we're good.
All right.
Maybe we'll do an episode that isn't the Center Viewing Live eventually.
Eventually.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Hey, thanks for listening,
guys.
guys.
Have a good night.